What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Panthers Advice. Today, we're going to talk about what CJ Stroud just said about Bryce Young. Was he being nice or was he actually telling the truth, man? Let's jump into the clip and go from there.
Because we're the ones being talked about. Right? They ain't going to talk about, no disrespect, they ain't going to talk about the right guard. They're not going to talk about the safety. They're not going to talk about the corners. They're going to talk about the quarterback. And we're those guys who signed up for that. So in his shoes, I feel like a lot of stuff didn't go his way that was out of his control. You know, like you can't make a play if somebody don't block.
All right, here's a touchy subject. Because when they talked about Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, they said both offensive lines were bad, excluding the Giants because they allowed 85 sacks. I mean, whew, that's a lot of sacks. The Panthers allowed 65 sacks. The Texans at 47. 65 and 47. Those aren't the same. I'm glad CJ said what he just said because, man, you allowed the second most sacks in the league and expect your quarterback to have success? I mean, look at the bottom five right here. The Giants, not a lot of success. Commanders, new head coach, right? You got the Jets. Their owner just came out and said some stuff. Whew, not good. Titans fired their head coach. Broncos, you know, who knows what's going to happen with the Broncos, right? And the list just goes on and on. You got the Bears right there. Burrow was out with the Bengals, the Patriots. You see what's in common with all these teams, right? So I'm glad CJ Stroud said something. Let's keep the clip going.
You can't make a play if somebody don't catch the ball.
All right, this one was interesting because I went and looked at the numbers when it came to receivers who dropped the ball. So I'm not going to put that on the Panthers because the Chiefs had the most drops in the league by far. But what I am going to look at is the receivers, right? Let me pull up the receiver stats. All right, guys, now we're going to look at receivers because it's not fair to judge the whole Bryce Young, CJ Stroud offense just based off the offensive line, right? How did the receivers do? So we're going to look at the top two targets for each one. Tank Dell for CJ, 47 catches, 700 yards, 7 touchdowns. And obviously he got hurt later in the season, right? He was out for the season. Then we look at Nico Collins right here. 80 catches, almost 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. So now we're going to look at the Panthers' number one target, and that was Adam Thielen. 100 receptions, so that's 20 more than Nico. 1,000 yards, so it's almost 300 yards less than Nico, and 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns less than Nico. Like I've been saying all season, Adam did great by doing what he could, but he wasn't supposed to be the number one guy. If he was a slot guy like he was supposed to be, these numbers would be even better, right? Now we're going to look at our second best receiver, and that was DJ. Game started at 11, 35 catches, 525 yards, 5 touchdowns. Actually, not too bad at all. 35 catches, 525 yards, 15-yard average, and he had 5 touchdowns. That's actually pretty good. I wouldn't mind bringing him back, but you guys see the difference, right? You saw Tank's stats at the beginning right here, 47 catches, 700 yards. Pretty good, right? And then you saw Nico right here, 80 catches, almost 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. There's definitely a big difference when it comes to receivers, Panthers versus Texans. I mean, look at the Panther stats right here. We got Adam with 1,000 yards, DJ with 500, then Mingo with 400, and then it goes to our running back with Hubbard with 233. Guys, do you see these numbers? 1,000, 500, 400, 200, 100. Come on, man. We're not going to accomplish anything with these numbers. These are abysmal, guys. 1,000, 500, 400, 200, 194, 184, 154, 139. These are bad. Let's keep the clip going, though. But I just want to give you guys some perspective. Let's see what else CJ has to say.
And when you watch the tape, like, Bryce did a lot of great things.
So right there, CJ brings up Bryce has a lot of great things on tape. There's also some things Bryce has to work on. But one of the great things Bryce does on tape that I don't think we talk about enough is his patience in the pocket. Remember the numbers we just saw. 65 sacks allowed. That's tied for second in the NFL. Only behind the Giants. And whew, that O-line is bad, right? But 65 sacks allowed, and he's still that patient in the pocket. You see him move around in the pocket, keeps his eyes down the field. Now, unfortunately, nobody ever created that separation, and we can have that discussion another day, right? But you can't forget how important it is to have a QB who's patient, right? Even when his offensive line sucks. Let's keep the clip going. That's something I wanted to bring up. Let's see what else he has to say.
I think I came into a situation where, you know, we were struggling, I know, but like we still had a lot of good pieces, and Nick Casario, our GM, brought in a lot of good vets.
This one is very true. All right, let's look at the free agency real quick between the Texans signing and the Panthers signing. So the first signing we're going to look at for the Texans was Dalton Schultz. Right here, 59 catches, 635 yards, about 11 yards a catch, 5 touchdowns. Remember Adam Thielen, our best receiver? He had 9.8 yards a catch and 4 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz didn't get that many receptions. And the receptions and the yards that he did, he had a better average and he had more touchdowns than our leading receiver. That's their tight end. That is their tight end, guys. Let's keep it going. Who was the second signing right here? The second guy we're going to look at is Sheldon Rankins right here. He had the most tackles this year that he's had in his whole career. He's been playing since 2016. Then you look at the sacks. The second most sacks he's had in his career since his third year where he had 8. Fast forward 5 years later, he gets 6. The Texans put the right pieces in the right place. Let's check out what the Panthers did. So first up, we have Henry Anderson right there. Von Bell, all right. I think Bozeman's next, and Bozeman, not the best year for him, obviously. Next up, we're going to have Andy Dalton. Not a bad signing. You need a backup quarterback. Hayden Hurst. That was supposed to be our Dalton Schultz. As you guys know, that did not happen. Let's keep this thing going. McCray, offensive line. Hey, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm not even going to say anything, guys. Let's keep this list going. Who else we got? Miles Sanders. Not saying a word. Not saying a word. Adam Thielen. Hey, great signing, but who are we going to pair him with? You know, good signing, but there was just no one for him to go with. Deshaun Williams, I mean, not bad. The defense, we need more pass rush, but we can get into that another day. So as you guys can see, the moves that the Texans made actually fit the scheme, right? The moves that the Panthers made, how many times did you see Miles Sanders really ever go off? I think there might have been one game, maybe two. Hayden Hurst, please tell me the game. Now, I'm not blaming Hayden Hurst because early in the season, I saw some of the route schemes and combos they had Hayden Hurst on, running a whip route in the end zone on the far hash. The offensive line sucks. And we have Hayden Hurst running a whip route. I mean, never mind. I'm not going to get started. Let's keep the clip going. We have a long off season. All right.
You know, D'Amico was the perfect coach for our type of team. So, like, I think our rhythm, and, you know. Like,
ooh, you hear that? D'Amico Ryans was the perfect coach for their type of team. D'Amico Ryans was the perfect coach for their type of team. Was Frank the perfect coach? Maybe. But not when you bring in pieces that don't fit him, right? And Frank did get fired the year before that too. So the jury's still out. Does he still have it or not? Kind of like Belichick, right? But like CJ just said, D'Amico was the perfect type of coach for that team. I think we got that with Dave. We'll see what happens. Let's see what else CJ has to say.
And, you know, like I said earlier, everybody's path is different. Like, maybe I had a good rookie year, and Bryce is going to have a great second year, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully I do too, but, like, I know everything's going to be fine for him. And I told him, like, you the one, bro. Yeah. You the one for a reason.
So that right there is pretty much everything CJ had to say about Bryce Young. To me, it was spot on. Let me know what you guys think. I like CJ's optimism attitude. He was real about it, right? He was real. He didn't try and sugarcoat anything. Let me know what you guys think, though. That's going to wrap it up. A lot more videos. Stay tuned. If there's anything you guys want me to do a video over, it's the off season. Just let me know. Comment below, and I'll knock it out for you guys. Take it easy. I'll catch you guys on the next one.